This is the Matrixx Hour with John Matrixx. Pop culture, news, and reviews. Buckle up for the ride. Here is John Matrixx.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me on episode number 6 of the Matrixx Hour. In today's podcast, we're going to go back to an old but a goodie. We have to take a step back here. Last year, I think it was the end of last year. Yeah, actually was. It was somewhere around it was about a year ago, I guess. And the Batwoman trailer on the CW dropped. And I remember I did a reaction on YouTube for the trailer for it. We heard that Batwoman was coming out. Rudy Rose was going to be in the starring role. And I was like, all right, let me do a live reaction to it. And really, I didn't know anything about it. I recorded my reaction. I was on my way out to see John Wick Chapter 3. Very good movie, and I highly recommend that you see John Wick Chapter 3 if you have not seen it. But anyway, I was about 20 minutes away from leaving to go to the movies, and the trailer drops, and I'm like, all right, let me do a live reaction. So I sit down, I hit record, and I watch one of the most cringe trailers I had ever seen in my life. It was that awful. I was like, oh my God, this is absolutely terrible. And that was one of my most successful videos at the time. I believe it had somewhere around 11,000 views. And eventually it got copyright claim for no reason. I mean, fair use, but I guess it didn't matter. It got copyright claim. It happens when you're on YouTube. But I was like, who in God's name is going to watch this TV show? This TV show is so awful. It looks so terrible. So now we get word today that Rudy Rose has quit Batwoman after only one season. One season. This came out of the blue yesterday. And I actually went live on YouTube and talked about it. But I decided, you know what? I need to record a podcast on this. So that's what I'm doing right now. Obviously, you know that if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, or watching on YouTube, that's what I'm doing. And I don't know why she quit. There isn't any details as to why she quit, but I'm willing to probably bet it was the backlash of Batwoman. That's what I think anyway. Yes, she had some injuries on the set. I think somebody actually died on set too. So I guess that was probably just a little bit traumatic for her, but I think probably for the most part was maybe Rudy Rose even said, yeah, this show is not good. Nobody likes me as Batwoman. True. I don't think many people like her as Batwoman. Probably not. But she actually did give a statement. And she provided no details as to why she was leaving. The only thing she said was, I have made the very difficult decision to not return to Batwoman next season. This was not a decision I made lightly, as I have the utmost respect for the cast, crew, and everyone involved with the show, both in Vancouver and in Los Angeles. So now, Warner TV is in a pickle. Because if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that they should be filming season 2 right now. I guess. I think they would be. But we all know that the pandemic has pretty much shut everything down. And I don't know when they were scheduled to actually reopen and start filming again. But now they need to find somebody to fill the shoes of Rudy Rose. The star of the show is not coming back for season 2. And actually, truly, they didn't even really finish season 1 because they had produced 20 episodes out of 22, but that was cut short by the pandemic. So they haven't even started filming season 2. This is not good, but it's probably for the best because the show, nobody, absolutely nobody was interested in Batwoman. It was that bad. When it came out, I was like, all right, let me check out the first episode. I'll do a review on it. And I sat down and I watched the first episode. And I was so worried about it being full of identity politics. And the first episode, it wasn't that bad on identity politics. But the show was horrible. Absolutely horrible. There was nothing there. And I refused to actually end up watching any other episodes. I mean, it was that awful. I mean, I used to be a very, very loyal follower of the CW shows. My CW fandom started all the way back to Smallville. Smallville was fantastic. Smallville was on the air from 2000 to 2011. It had a long run. Tom Welling as Clark Kent, aka Superman. It was great. I loved it. And then after that, they came out with Arrow. That's when the Arrowverse started. I mean, the Arrowverse really started because of the success of Smallville. And I was a late bloomer to Arrow. I kind of didn't really watch the show, but then I started binge watching it on Netflix. And I was like, man, this show is really, really good. Oliver Queen, it was so great. And season 2 of Arrow was some of the best superhero stuff on TV or on screen with Deathstroke. And we need to get Deathstroke in the movie. We really, really do. It was fantastic. That was the pinnacle and the peak, I believe, of Arrow. And actually of all of the CW shows. But the people over at Warner Brothers TV, they started getting very, very woke and started pushing agenda in all of the shows. All of them. I mean, if you're not a part of the alphabet community, they almost really didn't want anything to do with you. I mean, they were popping up people everywhere, making them a part of the alphabet community. I mean, they made Oliver Queen's son a part of the alphabet community. Then they also made Flash's daughter from the future a part of the alphabet community. I mean, everybody was popping up in the alphabet community. One of the Lance sisters, not Laura, but her other sister, I can't think of her name. She's a part of the alphabet community. I mean, it's just agenda being pushed on these shows. And Batwoman, no different. They made Batwoman a part of the alphabet community. And I know people are going to say she was like that in the comic book. Yes. But she originally wasn't like that. They changed her. And we know that they can go back to the source material and they can actually change it there. And they did. But Batwoman was pushing agenda so hard from that first trailer. You remember, they even had that song, I Am Woman. They even had a clip where Ruby Rose's Kate Kane says, referring to the Batman suit, because she stole Batman's suit, but it didn't fit her. So she told the guy it'll be perfect when it fits a woman, because he was saying that the Batman suit was literal perfection. And she says, it will be when it fits a woman. And then they started playing that song. I was like, this is awful. This is really, really bad. But we should have saw this coming from the CW. I mean, they've been pushing subtle agendas more. And Batwoman was just full-blown SJW. Now, Supergirl, I heard Supergirl is really, really SJW. and it's not doing that well either. But here's the thing. Batwoman is a new show, and it wasn't even the top rated show. I mean, Arrow, Flash, they've been around a while. But this new show was a complete and utter failure. A complete failure. I mean, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, it only has a 13% with the audience. I don't even care about the critic score because we know how the critic score works. I mean, I'm still waiting on the Rise of Palpatine to actually change from that 86. It's been at an 86 forever. But that's another story, so I digress. But Batwoman, I think it has like a 76 with the critics on there. It's only 49 reviews, but a 13% with the audience. Nobody, absolutely nobody, was enjoying this show. And I think that Rudy Rose just said the hell with it. And she wanted to do something else. I mean, she's been injured on set. The reviews are bad. Maybe she even reads these scripts and says, this is really, really god awful. But I don't think that Warner Brothers is going to learn anything from this. Nothing. Because based on their statement in response to Rudy Rose quitting the show, they still want to push identity politics. And it's clear as day in their statement. It is. So this is what they said in response to her statement about quitting. Warner Brothers Television, the CW, and Berlanti Productions thank Ruby for her contributions to the success of the first season and wish her all the best. The studio and network are firmly committed to Batwoman's second season and long-term future. And we, along with the show's talented creative team, look forward to sharing its new direction, including the casting of a new lead actress and a member of the LGBTQ community in the coming months. I got a bit problem with that right there. You want to hire a new lead actress. Well, you have to. But nobody's going to be able to get the job unless they're part of the alphabet community. That's the problem right there. Prioritizing agenda over that. Why does this person need to be a part of the alphabet community to get a job? Last I checked, in the US, isn't it illegal to hire or not hire somebody based on their sexual preference? I do believe that is illegal. So it doesn't matter if you have the most talent. Warner Brothers says it doesn't matter. We want to know who you're sleeping with at night in your bed. That's what's going to get you the job. If you're a woman sleeping with a man, you're out. Completely out. We don't want you. But if you're a woman that's sleeping with another woman, that means something to us. You can get this job. Do you guys see the problem with that? You guys really should see the problem with that. We should not even care about the sexuality of the lead actress. But Warner Brothers, the CW, this is what they have been prioritizing. They have been pushing the alphabet agenda for a very, very long time. Now, if this wasn't a forced thing, and they're absolutely forcing it, they're telling you that it's going to be a member of the alphabet community. That's the only way you're going to get this job. So you can't be a talented straight actress and get this job because I guess they think you can't play the role. And last I checked, it doesn't matter about the sexual preference of a superhero. We only care about what the superhero is doing on screen when it comes to the action part, the acting part, and nobody cares about the sexual preference of the main character. We don't. But we noticed something about these comic book movies lately. They have really been telling you about the sexual preference of the characters. Like the Marvel's Eternals supposed to be coming out later on this year. We know nothing about the movie except there's going to be a gay man in the movie, a gay couple in the movie, because that's what they want to prioritize. They want to prioritize that agenda. When Batwoman was coming out, that was also one of the talking points of Batwoman. She's a lesbian. Nobody cares about that. And obviously, nobody cares about it because based on the ratings for this show, it just shows you that people don't like this show. And yet it got a second season. A second season. It's the good old saying, get woke, go broke. And the CW, right from the beginning with the first trailer, they went broke. Nobody is watching this show. Nobody at all is watching this show. But it doesn't matter. As long as we can push our agenda, we feel good about it. That's what they're saying. But who's actually going to get the next role? I don't have any idea. I mean, you're pretty much limiting your talent pool. You're going to have to get a woman, and they're going to have to be a member of the LGBTQ community. And they're going to have to be a good actress. You're really, really limiting your pool. So, if I'm not mistaken, the amount of people that identify as LGBTQ is around, 2 to 4% of the entire population? Good luck finding somebody. Good luck finding somebody that is actually really, really good. Because that's probably their only hope right now is that this person is a very, very good actress. Because that may be the only saving grace. I don't see how this show is going to be able to produce season 2 on time. Because they couldn't even finish season 1. And season 2, I'm willing to bet, was going to drop in probably September, season 2. They haven't even started filming. And I don't know when Vancouver's going to be open up for business. We already know LA is really, really trying to keep everybody locked in their homes. So no telling when Hollywood is actually going to open up again. But why, CW? Why does this new actress need to be a part of the alphabet community? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, you want female representation. I get that, understand that. But now you're trying to limit it even more. Eventually, they're probably going to say on the show, we're looking for somebody that's a woman that doesn't identify as a woman, that's a part of the alphabet community, that really wants to be a deer. So we're talking about trans species. You may actually have that Twitch streamer, the Ferociously Steph, being on the CW in some kind of role one day. I mean, that's to where we're going with all of this. Because agenda means everything. Sexual preference means everything to the CW now and Warner TV. Also Hollywood, really. We as fans do not care about any of that stuff. I wish Ruby Rose the best. I really, really do. I really, really do. I don't know where Ruby Rose is going to go from here. I really would like to know exactly what caused her to leave Batwoman. Maybe we'll find out in the next few days or so what actually led her to leave the show. I'm thinking probably it's just the show was awful. It was awful. She got injured and it wasn't worth her time. And there was another interview with her that probably gives us a little bit more insight, is that she didn't enjoy, I believe, filming the crossovers. And the crossovers take up more time. You already putting in a full day plus just shooting your own TV show on the CW. It's a lot of work. And it made it seem like she really did not enjoy doing the crossover events. And I do believe that the next season, the crossover event was going to be the new Superman and Lois show and Batwoman. So a very, very unpopular character was going to be in the crossover event for the CW. And the crossover event is supposed to be the biggest event of the season for all the shows. And they wanted Batwoman, and maybe Ruby Rose said, no, not doing it this time. I'm out. So I guess her contract was only for one season on the show. And maybe going in, maybe they had her just for one season just to see how everything would go. Because the character was actually brought in for a crossover event, I believe for Arrow, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Maybe it's one of the other shows. But that's when the character was actually brought in. And then they made a show for Batwoman. It was awful. And I saw Ruby Rose as Batwoman in a couple of other shows on the CW. She was on one of the other crossovers. I saw that. And she made an appearance, I believe, in Arrow. And Ruby Rose, I didn't think she was bad because they weren't pushing the agenda on that. The agenda really, really came in with the Batwoman show itself, but they used her to set up her own show. And people out there, they don't care. They're actually happy this is happening. Now, I feel bad for Ruby Rose. If it was really something emotional or physical with her, I'm not wishing harm on her whatsoever. She seems like a nice person. But I blame the CW. I blame Warner TV for putting her in this god-awful TV show. I mean, I guess they just love losing money because their ratings were trash. The ratings for this show were complete trash. But hey, they love losing money. And I truly believe that the Arrowverse is dead. I mean, Arrow is already over. Oliver Queen is dead. I actually stopped watching The Flash because this final season of Flash was bad. Actually, the last two seasons were bad. Really, really bad. It was just too much agenda. Way too much agenda for me. But like I said before, the CW wants to prioritize agenda over everything. That's exactly what they want to do. And they have been successful at it as of late, especially in this Batwoman show, pushing agenda. They actually had an entire episode about Batwoman coming out the closet because somebody else in the show, I believe, was a part of the alphabet community and they want to commit suicide or something like that. I heard it was super, super cringe and it was absolutely horrible. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up episode number 6 of the Matrixx Hour. It's in the books. Batwoman, Ruby Rose is no more. The show will continue. Agenda will continue because that's the CW way. So everyone, be safe. Have a great day, and we will catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Matrixx Hour with John Matrixx. Join us next time for pop culture, news, and reviews.